I want you to understand this here as I go live. I want to say this to you today. I want you to listen to me very carefully as I go live. As I talk about what's going on and what's happening in the world today. I want to deal first with the storms, the floods that's going on around the world. Now, one of the things you remember that they had to shoot the balloon down that came from China. The balloon went all over America, and then after they shot it down, they didn't tell us that the balloon was shooting out different gases that create tornadoes and floods and storms. So that's what that did. It released it in the air. What happened to Cobra? It was released and it was airborne. So the storm that we had in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, was released from that. Uh, released the gas is released, and they call them chemtrails. That was the chemtrails. Uh, let me see who talked about chemtrail. Michael Jackson talked about chemtrail, and most of the people talked about chemtrails, and chemtrails is gas released in the community. Uh, One of the chemtrails that were released brought those floods and storms. That's the chemtrail. Uh, Most people that talked about the chemtrail, they was in this. What is the chemtrail? The chemtrail is the gases released out to make storms and floods. That's the chemtrail. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, in the chemtrails. So that's what the chemtrail was. One of the things Dick Gregory, bless his soul, he's ancestor now. He talked about the chemtrail. Dr. King talked about the chemtrail, and this bloom that they shot down, that bloom went all over America, and it's from China. They didn't shoot it down till the people started complaining. But if they put them chemtrail, ain't no way you supposed to have a, 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 a tornado in Mississippi in the Delta, a F2, it ain't nothing down there. So that was out. In California, they got 4 feet of snow, earthquakes. That's from the chemtrail that this balloon let out. The government ain't telling us what's going on. They finally shut the thing down because the people went to complaining. The balloon was in North Carolina. What they doing in North Carolina? And they didn't shoot it down when it come over. So we're going to have more weather that the China done put out there in the chemtrail. We're going to have a flood in the Midwest because of the chemtrails that Russia that put out that China done put out. We're going to have uh, earthquakes in Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas. This is happening now before our eyes. You know about what is happening? Ain't no global one. It's the chemtrails that this bloom let out before Biden shot it down. But it had did its damage already. They never did tell us what what that balloon had in it. I want to tell you, the balloon had weather. It was testing the weather, sending smoke out to California, to Denver. A desert, not getting floods in the desert. They're getting floods in the mountain because that's what that balloon was doing. And because of it's already out. It's create weather. It when you shoot it out. Let me give you an example. When you shoot it out, it's just puff of smoke. But as it rotates, it pick up air and water. So we're gonna have in hurricane down in Florida back to back, and down in the Gulf. That's gonna happen. And coming in the Midwest, I'm talking about Chicago, Indiana, I'm talking about Minnesota, I'm talking about Ohio or Michigan. That's mass floods gonna start in April because of that. And we just got 3 foot of snow in California. Never happened. If you get that kind of snow, you know somebody's sending chemtrails up. Dick Gregory talked about the chemtrails, and we're seeing the chemtrails that China put out here, and America would not deal with it. They didn't want to shoot the balloon down, but the balloon done did its damage. See what I'm talking about? Now, what I'm saying to you that's listening to me, chemtrails are loose and going on. I share. Expect a miracle in spite of all this, but the chemtrails is out there. You said, well, how do we have a hurricane in Rolling Park, Mississippi? Ain't nothing in Rolling Park, Mississippi but housing and land because of the chemtrails that China put out in that balloon. That's why we had that. Ain't nothing in Mississippi. Why it gonna have a F2 tornado in Mississippi, the Delta? Ain't never had it in 50 years because China had put that balloon and let it out. Let me give you another example. Here's California. In the desert, they got floods in the desert in California. Never happened because they tampering with the weather and America knew it. That's when they shot it down. But they want to tell you it don't mean nothing. They they shot it down over the water, but it didn't let that gas out. That gas to create floods, storms, tornadoes, earthquake. That's what they was doing to America. And those scientists know, those people know what China was doing to America. Okay? Now it's time for the people to understand it's not normal to have 4 feet of snow in California back to back. That ain't normal because they messing with the weather. That's what's happening. And I want to be the first to tell you that's what's going on. The weather being tampered with by man. Okay? The floods, the storm, the tsunamis. China did it. This cobra was did is airborne. They got a low balloon running low, and it's been went all over the United States, over in North Carolina, South Carolina, and then they decided to shoot it down. Come out, it is a threat. Look at California. Look at what's happening uh, over in California, in Oakland. What's happening right now in Minnesota. This is from the chemtrails that bloom let out, low density, and it rise up to a certain level. The wind get it and carry it all across the country. So that's what's happening now. I say. I just wanted to say that because that's the thing that's going on now. The chemtrails is messing up the whole country. Okay, and they sent some out to mess with the minds of our young folk. Well, how can that be? Check it out. Here's a girl get two salt rifles, go in and shoot kids, ain't did nothing to her. Here's a young boy. You ask him for the gun, he shoot because we're gonna have more killings in the schools, more killing in the churches, more killing in the malls, in the colleges, because Congress, I'm gonna say it, the government, I'm gonna say it, the Republican and Democrat refuse to ban assault weapons in America. So we're gonna have more killing back to back. More people right now we need to be dealing with mental institutions, trying to get our mind because this stuff that was shot in the air have made minds mess up the minds of our people and mess up their thought. So it's important for you to call and become involved. I want to tell you, Philippians 4:19, God gonna help you in your business. That's when I said a miracle. And St. Luke 6:38, get ready for a breakthrough and expect a miracle. St. Luke 11:29, St. Mark 11:29, St. Mark 11:30. Get ready for a breakthrough for you. I want to pray for you. I want to tell you, call me, get in contact with me. Let me give you my number where you can call Block Talk Radio. It come on 7 days a week. And the scripture, Bright Star, is Exodus 14:14, Psalms 119. Begin to read that where your mind can be clear. It's a sort of evil, Jared. It's sort of evil that's going against us. And this evil is going against people of color. So that's the stuff that's going on. Call me That's 515-605-9890. That's from 9 to 10, 7 days a week, where you can chip in on what we're talking about. I'm going to try to get Jerry on the phone here and ask Jerry, do he know what's going on? Some people is not aware of what's going on in the world. I want you to be aware of what's going on in this country. And lots of people don't know we under a demonic attack. And that money attack is messing with our young folks. It's messing with lots of folks, and they don't know we under a demonic attack. If you don't know you're under the demonic attack, you got to look around, look what's happening. I'm gonna see can I get Jerry because we're under a demonic attack, and it's happening all over the country. We're under a demonic attack, and we're under the attack, a demonic attack, and I see it every day. I see it. I say, Jerry, we're under a demonic attack by evil. I wanted to share that with you. Uh, I seen it last night. One of the demonic attack by witchcraft and magic. I mean, these young people killing each other because we need a mental institution. And I want to tell you this. I know you don't know this. I'm gonna share this with you this morning. You know when they shot down that balloon, that balloon was running low. That balloon that went all over the United States. You know where it come from? It come from China, and it was letting chemtrails out. And chemtrails ain't nothing but smoke, and that smoke get in the atmosphere and create storms and floods. So they they put it over the ocean, so it went to California. That means they had 4 feet of snow. They never had 4 feet of snow, 4 inches. They had 4 feet of snow in California. 4 feet of snow in California. That then they had a earthquake in California, and then they had a tornado in California. That because of the chemtrail. China did it. America, I think the American know. That means they shot it down. Now, this what you ain't found out. Let me tell you what happened. This what's going to happen in the Midwest. Because of the chemtrails, we're going to have floods in Illinois, Missouri, Ohio, all down through there. You're going to have floods starting next month. Now, let me help you out. They shot chemtrails. Let me tell you where else they shot chemtrails at. They shot chemtrails down in Florida. So you're going to have earthquakes. You're gonna have back to back tornadoes. Uh, uh, what they have. This is the season for what? For hurricane is already out there. That's mean they shot the thing down. People ain't understand. So the government, we shot it down. We ain't found nothing wrong. Why did you shoot it down if it wasn't doing nothing? It was bringing snow and floods and stuff in areas where it's never been. You know that, don't you?
I don't know about that, Bishop. That
Uh,
was a spy balloon.
uh,
That was a spy balloon.
but them chemtrails, you know what chemtrails is, don't you?
Yeah, but
Chemtrails create climate for tornadoes, floods, bad weather, and heat. Those was chemtrails they
Bishop,
release.
just imagine how many thousands of gallons of smoke it would take
Huh?
all across that state.
Uh,
It would take thousands of gallons.
they had all kind of stuff up in that balloon. They release.
Yeah, but it could have been no more. It could have been that much.
It don't need much. Look. If you can take some smoke, just just like you get some slaves and you smoke it, you put it in the atmosphere. The water it take on the atmosphere. No way down in Rolling Park, Mississippi, down in the Delta, that you should have a hurricane or a tornado at F4. Ain't nothing down there but woods. So that was sent. I mean, you got look what I'm saying. This is the Delta. 40 years, 50 years, they never had a storm like that they had down in Rosenfeld because of the chemtrails that were released in the elements. them chemtrails in the element brought about the storm. And let me tell you, it wasn't nothing but woods down there. Okay, if they had released it down in Jackson or down in Greenwood or Tennessee, see, but the wind blowed it and it blowed it right down through Rolling Fork. Now, when they get ready to investigate, when they tell the truth, somebody gonna tell you that was chemtrails that was set up, that was sent. That's what you're gonna find out. Uh-huh. And 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 they released them chemtrails on people's minds. See, when you said Cobra, Cobra was nothing, was airborne. It was airborne. Now they finding out that the man was on TV, said they found out that when Cobra was in his height, they seen blooms, go up and then they disappear, shooting out that stuff all over the country. So so China really had something to do with what happened, but America was so sophisticated that they wouldn't even recognize that China was doing Cobra stuff in the laboratory. Okay, they did it in the laboratory and they did it in the air. But what they did with the balloon was a test to see what it worked, and it worked. And look, I'm saying now, the people gonna let you know. The scientists will say this hurricane is unpredictable. This tornadoes. You having 50 and 40 tornadoes. That ain't normal. That means that somebody doing something with the elements. That's what you got to understand. The elements being tampered with. Dick Gregory talked about chemtrails. Dr. King talked about chemtrails. Michael Jackson talked about chemtrails. Even Prince talked about the chemtrail. These people was aware of the chemtrail, and it ain't nothing but smoke that produced in the laboratory and turn it loose. Okay? If you get the smoke and you release it in the air, it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow to a tornado, flood, or it's gonna take on water. So that's the kind of stuff that's going on.
And they still having floods and stuff. It didn't even go through California.
It did go to California.
It started out around Washington.
No, the thing, look, the bloom went, it went to California, it went over to Russia, it went over to Alaska, and the air carried it to California. When they released the chemtrail, the air carried it to California. The man said, I've been here 40 years. We never had this kind of snow. But it was a cloud. He said, I seen it in the air. When I seen that cloud, it growed and growed, but I didn't think nothing of it. That was that snow cloud that balloon had released. See, people got to understand that snow cloud, that that snow cloud had been released. See, that snow cloud had been released. See, that balloon, let's say this here. That balloon, I was telling them this here, that 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 them chemtrails made the snow in California. Them chemtrails that released, that's what they did. That's what happened. See, now, Miriam, this is what I had to tell you. I got a letter from the alderman, from the 8th Ward alderman said they supporting ballots.
Yes, she is.
See what I'm saying? All the blacks have turned against blacks. Now, let me tell you this here before you get off the air. Dr. Martin Luther King, 55 years ago, was in Chicago in March marching. We marched for open housing. We marched for jobs. We marched in Marquette Park and Gage Park, where they wouldn't even let blacks move in. We marched, okay? Now, Al Raven marched with us. Dr. M.L. Sargent marched with us. Reverend Coleman marched with us. Reverend Clay Evans marched with us. These are blacks. Now, Ballas was with Daley. Daley told the preachers, don't let Dr. King in the church. Okay? Daly told the people, don't let Dr. King on the west side. Ballard was with Daly in the administration when Daly told the police, don't protect Dr. King. Now, this has been 55 years ago. Let me tell you what happened. When when we had a meeting at 40 North Action, Reverend Dunlap was there, Reverend T.C. Vivian was there, Reverend Coleman was there, Reverend Top, all the leading ministers from SCLC was there when we had the meeting at 40 North Action. This is what we had. We had the Blackstone Rangers leaders there. We had the Black Panther leaders there. We had the leaders from the Latin Kings and the Vice Lords and the disciples. We met. We agreed that we want to support Dr. King because they wanted to kill Dr. King. Oh, this story go deep. So what happened? Uh, Pepper Lowe on the west side, and Pepper Lowe was the man over the vice lords, the conservative vice lords. They began to guard Dr. King. Okay, and then after that, the disciples, Larry uh, Larry Hoover and Boxdale was running the disciples out of Inglewood. They said they would protect Dr. King. Jeff Ford over on the south side in Woodlawn, Jeff Ford and Eugene Harris said they would protect Dr. King. So we had the youth protecting, we had the Latin Kings. Pepperlo and them, Latin King, they was guarding Dr. King. So after we began, they began to the guard Dr. When the police rolled up, he said, what y'all doing out here? As we were guarding Dr. King. Okay? So the police seen they had guns, they had shoulder holsters. They stood there, they said, you can't come up in here. Now, after that happened, the police could not go in there because we marched in Market Park, Gates Park, and Cicero. Now, who the in Cicero, it's more Spanish people in Cicero now. It's more Spanish folks in Marquette Park and Gay Park when they couldn't go. Blacks the first went. Now, this what happened after that. Dr. King had a call. He had to come to Memphis. Okay. Now, Dallas was with Daly. That's who he was with daily back then, fighting Dr. King. Okay? And when I see Bobby Rush and I see these black aldermen supporting Dallas, they done jumped off the reservation. They traitors to the movement. See what I'm saying? They traitors to the movement. So we got to work to get them out of office. They can't come back in office for black folks because they ain't for black folks. Okay? Now, after that happened, okay, now let me tell you what happened where you can know the whole story. After they the you had Ever Hammerhand and the sheriff police, along with Chicago policemen, had put a contract on the Teen Nation, the leaders. They killed Mark Clark and Fred Hampton. Everhand come at night 4 o'clock and killed him. When they left there, that same group went over to Inglewood to get Larry Hoover. But Larry Hoover had them bodyguards, them pistols, and they said, we want to see your leader. You can't see our leader. You have to get up out of here. We don't care what you is, but you can't come here tonight. So they left. So they went over to Woodlawn and did the same thing with Jeff. So we want to see that now you can't see him because we bodyguard, okay? So they couldn't kill them, okay? They couldn't kill Pepperlo on the west side. So what they did, they couldn't kill the Latin King. What they did, they come back and put trumped up charges on every one of them young men. You got Jeff Ford in jail for 100 murders. You got Larry Hoover for 100 murders. They've been in jail for 40, 50 years. And the people that put them in jail, they dead. And ain't nobody brought their case before the court to change the case. Look, it's the same way that the police framed all these black boys and these Spanish boys, they getting out of jail. Jeff and them was political prisoner because they had rank of people. They had people that were following them. Now, let me tell you who was behind them. When they got ready to march, they shut down the unions because the trade unions the labor department, operating engineer, the carpenter, they wouldn't hire blacks. You couldn't get a job being a bricklayer in Chicago. You couldn't get a job being a carpenter. You couldn't get. They wouldn't give you no license. Reverend Al Sampson went and set up a organization from Washington where blacks can get in a black union. Okay, but after we marched and shut everything down in the city, we shut the city down. Said we don't work till nobody work. Hey, Jeff and them was too strong. They put them in jail on trumped up charges, and they still in there.
Why didn't they get Bobby Rush? She rolled over and
Thank you.
informant.
Yeah, that's what happened with that. You see, now here's Mark Clark and Fred happened to get killed. He supposed to have been there, but he wasn't there. Tell me what that's going on. But right now, he's still going with violence. And I know violence ain't loving black folks. And these black folks that's going now, they all messed up. They really messed up in Chicago. You know, now on the 4th of April, Dr. King was killed in Memphis on the 4th of April. And they have an election on the 4th of April. When we went in 1968, Dr. King was in Chicago in March. He got a call to come down to Memphis. He went to Atlanta, then went to Memphis. When we got to Memphis in 1968, they had a white mayor, his name Mal Lowe, and they had a white chief of police, and they had the black men marching, had signs, picket signs that we are men, okay? So what happened, they had 2 black police. One was guarding Lorraine Motel, and the other was guarding the alley. That's all the job they had. When we began to march, and Dr. King said, what we're going to do, we're going to boycott everything in Chicago, in California, across this country. They killed Dr. King on the 4th of April. That's when they killed him. Now, 55 years later, we got a march. We got in Chicago. We got a chance to put a black mayor in, and the blacks done turned and ran. They trying to, and I'm shocked that the black aldermen don't understand how they got there. They got there because of march. I'm shocked that they all have turned their back against black on black. But the white folks are with violence. You got the black unions, you got the white unions with him, you got the police department with him, you got the operating engineers with it, you got the unions with it, you got every agency white is with violence.
Have and have nots.
So that's some of the stuff that's going on now. See, we going into 2023 all messed up. All messed up. All messed up.
That's why I've been telling you. You're in trouble.
I'm just letting you know what's going on with black folks today. We're not together. And we won't get together. And the black minister, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the black boy that was running against Lightfoot.
I don't know why you shocked. They have their own agenda.
They got their own agenda, and the agenda ain't black agenda.
That's right.
They're not worried. They're selfish for self. But like the old folks said, God sat high and he looked low. And all of them ain't gonna make it out their turn. When God gets through whooping them with all the crooked stuff they done did, that means people suffering, ain't got no home, nowhere to stay. They bringing people in here, ain't got nowhere to stay. But I want to say this in. It's gonna continue be killing in these schools. It's gonna continue be killing in these colleges, and these malls, and these churches to the Democratic Republic come to these, and we're gonna ban the assault weapon. They don't want to do it because they get money. Okay.
That's right.
And as long as they do that, it's gonna be confusion. And I'm inviting every mother, every parent to come together, and 1,000 go to Washington, 1 million people go to Washington and lobby in Washington and say we're gonna stay here till the Republican Democrat change the law because there's too many babies being killed. Now, what happened in Nashville? That was a church. That was a Catholic church. Then I say in my prophecy, it's going to be back to back, and it's happening. It's happening. See, so we're studying getting it all kind of ways because we won't stand together. That's what happened. God's getting us. That's what's going on. I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to say that to let you know because people don't know the story. I know the story. West Side Organization and Cape Town, all of them was with Dr. King. Dr. King said, this is the greatest organization in the city, but he said blacks don't stick together. And this is the most racist city, Chicago, and divided.
When he said that,
Dr. King said that before he died.
yeah, I remember.
We marched every day to Marquette Park and Gage Park. March against the Nazis, march against the what was the Nazis we marched against the skinheads, the Ku Klux Klan. They all was over there. Some of them was in Englewood on the police force. And we got the raising here with Reverend Dunlap, Reverend Hatcher, and Reverend Sard. We got the march and raising there and they had to get them out the police force. So a lot of this stuff going on is because we're not together. And I want to say that Mississippi, Arkansas, what happened in Memphis was a shame because blacks didn't have no political jobs in Memphis until Dr. King marched. After March, now you got a black mayor in Memphis, you got a black chief police in Memphis, you got five black men don't even know how they got there, and they beating up people, okay, because they don't understand what people had to do to get them jobs. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going through right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of stuff that's happening right now. I'm shocked. I'm shocked the aldermen know how hard it is.
You haven't been paying attention to it. She Democrat first. Loyalty.
Well, what's calling no Democrat?
She doesn't care. She doesn't care about her people. And she's trying to move up.
Well, ain't none of them gonna move up when the people wake up to what time it is. See, let me tell you something. It's getting to the point where now somebody's gonna come down that city hall with assault rifle. You know what I'm saying? It's getting to that point because they're worse than the people that they innocent people, them little 9-year-old baby, what they do. But the demons down there is lying, taking money, and people homeless. Yeah. Mm-hmm. People homeless, people ain't got nowhere to stay. And this is stuff that's going on. So it's important for us to understand that what's happening to us, that we got to come together. People sleeping under the bridge, but you can bring some refugees over here and give them a school and feed them and give them a welfare card and give them a medical card. But here's a man that fought in Vietnam and Korea and fought for this country, and he can't see a doctor or a dentist. Something wrong with that picture. Something ain't right with that picture. So it's important for those that need to pray to come together where we can be able to overcome the evil. We are embarked with evil right now. Young folks is taking pills and they're killing themselves. They don't know. And then the politicians say, well, it's all right for you to get a sex change. It's all right for little Johnny to be little Mary. It's all right for little Mary to be Johnny in a sex change. That's abomination for God. See? And it's a divine law, it's a man and woman. Be fruitful. That's a universal law. That's the law of God. You can't defy God. Every nation defy God, they were destroyed. And we're on our way of destruction as a race of people that we come back to the will of God. That's the important thing. Do we come back and trust God in what we're doing? That's very important. So today, as I talk to you, now what you got to say about that?
Good luck. And you think you're going to get your people together?
You think we can get them together? You think they lost?
Yeah.
I didn't know you thought they was lost. I thought there might be some hope for them.
And the young don't vote. They said it was less than 2%.
Huh?
The runoff.
Well, I feel that it's so much of money undercover given to violence. You got the Cubs undercover.
Yep,
You got the
yep.
Sox undercover. You got the uh, Bears undercover. They giving money to him undercover. So
That's right.
you got the real estate giving him money. You got the glee club giving him money. You got the police department giving money. So there's a lot of money that you'll never see the hand, but there's lots of money given to him to beat the black man. So, like
You
Dr.
got
King said,
billionaires giving
you
them
got
money.
billionaires getting the money undercover. They put the name. And did you see what you call it? Support him. I've been knowing him for 40 years. It ain't about how long you know somebody. It's about the job they're doing. See, Jesse Weiss, he been knowing him 40 years, and Dick Durham, told me, I don't care if you know him 100 years. He's doing the job for the people. Can he do the job for the people? So
Well,
that's the fight we're talking about. Where we go from here, community or chaos, or we going to stay trapped and ain't come out. So it's got to be a change, and the change got to come all the way up to all the way down. So I'm looking for change in Mississippi, in Arkansas, in Louisiana. I know in the Delta that don't supposed to have no, they got 10, 12, 10, 12 tornadoes at once. It's been
yeah,
released, that balloon that they shot down. They know what that balloon was doing, putting them chemtrails out there, and it's messing with the weather. Government know that, and see the way it works. You take you take the chemtrail, you shoot it out, and then the wind gets with it and it carries it.
hmm,
That's when they shot it down, but they ain't telling the people what happened. The intelligence of won't tell what happened. Reason they
I gotta
shot it
tell
down.
you.
They shot it down because it did the damage now. Look
That's
what
right.
happened down in Rolling. Ain't nothing in Rolling Fork down there for no tornado F3 tornado to come down through there. Okay? Look at in California, they done had back to back, they done had snow. I ain't talking no inches, feet, 5 feet, 7 feet now. They got 2 more feet of snow
Yeah, yeah.
in California. That's those chemtrails that Big Greg was talking about, them chemtrails that was let out across the nation. And later on, when they do research, you're gonna see them telling about the chemtrails. They're gonna tell you about it coming out about the
Well,
chemtrails.
when you heard Miss Jonas commercial for him,
Mm,
miracles.
yeah, that,
Yeah, he's endorsing them too.
yeah. That's what you're gonna find out. I'm just praying that people wake up. This look. Let me tell you what else would happen. The police department is letting all this robbery and stuff go on. They can stop. If the people robbing 7-Eleven every day and ain't nobody sticking out, you know. Now that means back in the old days when a place get robbed, they put a police there and watch. But they ain't doing none of that. Okay.
They don't care. They want you all to do it. Plus,
Yeah,
some of them are in on it.
that's right.
One
Some of
man
them.
called the radio station today and he said black people are going to have to start controlling each other.
Yeah, well, I feel that black folks got to start patrolling their community. So
Yes,
they got
take
to
the
have
trains
community
and the buses.
community polices.
That's
That
what
if
he
you
said.
if you got a house in a block, that whole block club should be the police department to watch out for each other. That's what got to happen to save the city. Hmm.
Save the South Side,
Hmm.
at
That's
least.
right. That's right. To save the city. That's what got to happen.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in bad shape. It's a case of the haves and the have-nots.
Hmm. That's right.
And that's the way they want it.
Hmm. That's what really going on. That's what really happening.
Hmm.
I
And it's just going to be a continuation of the daily
well,
regime.
I'm gonna see I'm gonna see what the march gonna do. I'm gonna see what this campaign. You know, Dr. King was assassinated April the 4th. Okay,
Right.
and we got our campaign April the 4th. That I'm gonna see the blacks step up to the plate. They want to act like it's a dead heat. It's Biden got it's too much money poured into this race. This is like a president race. All this money poured into it. See how much money poured into to this race? It's big money poured into this race. See this black man right here? This is the black man that black folks should be running for, but they ain't. You know, because I don't know why they are afraid of him, but I just feel that this should be the next mayor. Okay, because if he ain't the next mayor, somebody, it's already been set up. But what got me, what really upset me, all the marching that I did, all the marching that people did, that my man in there, uh, in Inglewood, Londale, lots of boys in jail right now, lots of people that dead for the right, and we find out right now, ain't nobody really standing up and say, if we lose, we're gonna lose together, okay? They ain't saying that. They're saying this is a good man, we want him. They want white over black. I'm not racist, but I feel that right now in Chicago, they need a black man.
Need something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
So that's
a
what, yeah.
continuation from
Uh-huh.
daily.
That's right. So my whole thing, we got to organize people in Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, in the Delta, up in the North. We got to have a demonstration in Washington saying, pay us our reparation and stop the killing, save the babies. The biggest march we're going to have in Washington is on the Democrat and Republicans not doing their job. They getting money, they ain't doing their job. They can't stop the killing that's going on in these schools. They can't stop the mass murder because they started selling assault weapons. This girl bought two guns, two
Yeah, she had
rifles,
seven of them altogether.
yeah, and had a bucket of bullets. So
Mm-hmm.
that lets you know somebody is getting rich off of selling guns and bullets in Chicago, Detroit, California, all over the United States. We're living in a crisis situation now. We live in a situation. If we don't change, we all gonna be destroyed by each other. By the youth destroying the other youth. So where your leaders, your doctors, your lawyers, all that's gonna come from. You can't get it because they destroying each other and ain't nobody speaking out. Where are the moral leaders? I don't hear the preachers saying. I don't hear the preachers marching. I don't hear the preachers say stop the killing. I don't see the preachers saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Mhm. That's what I'm saying. So I don't see where the leadership that we got in place is taking time to see about what's going on. It's more selfish. Is want what they want for them. The big corporation is involved. The big corporation is pushing homosexuality on TV. They're pushing race hate on TV. They pushing racism on TV. They pushing homosexual on TV. These companies, these major companies, saying if you don't support the gay, we pulling out. We might need to boycott every major corporation in America till they get it right. It's something we got to look at. That if this company do not go by the moral, we need to boycott the company. We need to go on TV. We boycott. We are not buying this product because this product is moving away from being helping our young folks. That's what got to happen. That's serious stuff we got to look at. We got to take a new look at America and what America means to our people. And that's what we got to do. Because there's too much going on in our community, hate and racism. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what we got to do. Got to look at it from another angle. We got to look at at when we gonna pay for when we gonna pay recreation. See, if they just give us recreation, you have enough to start your own business, do what you need to do. But ain't nobody doing that. So
No, no.
that's kind of
They're
stuff that
not
we
gonna
got
do
going
anything.
on.
No,
So we got a
that's
long
not
ways.
even on the agenda.
We got to deal with the mental attitude of our young folks. We got to deal with these other countries pushing pills, and it's something when they start to having gambling. You kids can gamble now on games and stuff. They've turned the city
That's
over.
terrible.
They've turned the city over. You got a kid going to school. He owe $4,000 when he got on his phone for gambling. Ain't
Yeah,
nobody
that's
dealt with
terrible.
that kind of stuff that's going on with the gambling, with the drugs that they're using. Okay, and there's a lot, and it's making people commit suicide. Young folks, there's more young folks killing themselves because they can't cope with what's going on. So it's important for us to sit down and deal with the reality of what we do, where we go from here. You got 95% of black males and females in jail because they were political prisoners. What you do, you got to take them away from that and do something different. That we got to do. Hmm. Hmm.
Well, your people not together.
Hmm. Okay.
These parents are not
I
outraged
know that.
about things that they should be outraged.
Okay.
That
Well,
should concern them.
okay. Okay. That's good. So my whole thing with this here is that we have to change the way we think. We got to move into the 21st, 22nd century, a new people. We got to revamp our education system. The education system is not helping our children. It's making our children more dumb, more hateful, more racist, and not giving them opportunity to go to the next level. Okay, so the wars and rumor of wars are going on because we're not dealing with the truth. We got to stop lying to our children, the youth, and tell them the truth. It's that we don't talk about slavery. You got to talk about slavery. You can't talk about Hitler that killed 6 million Jews. You got to talk about that because that's part of history. If you don't know history, how you know where you're going? So it's
Yep,
important for us to begin to tell the truth. This country
yep.
lied and lied and lied. It's time for this is 2023, time for the truth to come out. And it got to come out. That's right.
And
It got to come out.
we look,
See,
because
that's
these parents are not involved enough.
the parents.
You put the wrong people
Here's a
in
boy 7 years
office.
old, keep shoot a teacher, and they said, boy, the parent, the parent is cause of them guns. Well, the boy got the pistol from to come and shot the teacher. And look, they fired a principal. What you can fire the principal? Principal ain't doing no shoot. Where's the boy, mom and dad at? See what I'm saying? It's a lot that the education systems are turn away. They're not trying to educate. They educate them to go to penitentiary, and they go to penitentiary. They make money.
Uh-huh.
Different corporations own these mental institutions. They own these jail institutions. They making money all the way from Washington. See, Washington is part of the problem. Okay, when the politicians would not stop the assault weapons, they won't put a ban on guns, and people getting killed every day. That lets you know they're part of the problem. So you have to let the Republican Party go till they step up and do what they ought to do. Okay, and if the Democrats they are so caught up sending money to Ukraine, what about the money need to be in Memphis, Mississippi? Need to be
That's right.
need to be in Memphis. Need to be in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Arkansas, and up there where the people just got shot in Nashville. There's no program for the youth. They sending thousands of trillions of dollars across the sea, but here in America, people are starving. People eating out of garbage cans, people sleeping under the bridges, people haven't seen a doctor or a dentist. Something wrong with that picture.
Mhm.
Something very wrong with that picture.
They don't care. They don't care.
I'll just let you know that's the kind of stuff that's going on. That's what's happening. That's what's happening with us today. See, and
We see it.
we have become a climate. We have become a nation of appeal and drugs and alcohol and murder. We are more barbaric than the people up in the caves. We act
That's
worse than
right.
them. So it's got to be a stop. It's got to be a stop. It got to be somebody stop, take a deep breath, exhale, and say, hey, it got to be a mass change. Those that they try to change, they murdered Martin Luther King, they murdered Robert Kennedy, John Kennedy, Malcolm, Du Bois. They murdered those that can do something. They murdered Mark Clark, Fred Hampton. They murdered. If they didn't murder them with a gun, they poisoned them. Else they locked them up in jail and made them political prisoners. Okay, we got people in jail from Black Panthers up in Oakland, California. We got people in Stateville right now because their views was against the government. So we got a long ways to go. We got to come back and reevaluate this stuff, come back and make a change in our system. It's still, we still dealing with racism, white supremacy. We still, with white folks, want the color of your skin. We got to change that. The only way we change it by being in a different arena. That's the only way we got to change that. We got to change all that. Got to change it. And we have to change it together.